but this is fabulous. This is a kind of coracle, which is a very small boat, which is wonderful. But let's just, I think you might be free now, actually, if we can just can we come and say hello?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we just ask you to pop a mic on?
Yeah, sure.
And ask you to introduce on the spot with John. This is what they call it, absolutely.
So it's trying to get this clipped on somewhere, that's the thing. There we go.
Hello there.
Hi there.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Hamish Lamley of Pictavia Leather.
Yeah. Pictavia Leather?
Pictavia Leather, yeah. So I'm a leather worker and tanner and coracle builder.
Now, didn't tanners have to work on the outside of cities because they were too smelly, weren't they? Is that right?
Well, they used to be smelly, but what I'm actually doing is bark tanning, which doesn't smell at all. It's actually very clean and very stable. Yeah.
So you've got a piece of hide here, I'm guessing. So this is animal skin.
Yeah, this is a small deer. And
small deer skin, yep.
Yep, and I'm essentially just pouring tea on it. It's boiled up bark.
Yep.
So it's no different from tea bags.
Yep.
I pour that on, and as I rub it into the hide with a piece of slate, you'll see it slowly absorb the moisture.
So what's those tea and tannins actually doing then? Sort of, what's happening as a process?
So the tannins from the bark is what's tanning the hide, and it's preserving the fibres. It's the acidic nature of it, which is cleaning it and preserving it. And
so after that, it'll pretty much last forever, as you might say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Reason, yeah.
And then I just need to soften it with fat and oils. So it's going to take quite a bit of work to get through this one, but we've been slowly working on it through the day. And you can see some of the moisture come out here. That's the tan liquor in there, which is slowly being absorbed by the hide as I push it in with the slate. There we go.
And so how long would you work? Obviously, this is not a huge piece, but how long would it take you to be working on this?
So it'll take about 12 layers of tan to push it in.
Yeah.
With an hour or two in between each one. So I can do it in a day or two. I'm kind of spreading it out over the week at the moment.
I'll never complain about cleaning my shoes ever again. I mean, this is
absolutely.
Kind of easy by comparison, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but I think, if I'm right in thinking, this is the finished article, is it, we've got on here?
So this is a bit different. This is a coracle boat.
Yeah.
And this is actually rawhide. It's not tanned at all.
Oh, it's raw, okay.
Yeah, so this is taken off the beast, the hair's taken off,
and
it's wrapped on and left to dry, nothing else.
So this is a kind of classic boat, isn't it, as you might say, structure?
This is the type of boat you find all across the British Isles. It's called a cwrach in Ireland, cwrach in Scotland, and a coracle here in England.
And these are particularly... Tell me about the environment that these were kind of developed for, because they're very purpose-built, aren't they?
Yeah, this is your kind of everyday man's fisherman's boat, so this is made for work on the canals, on the lochs, for catching eels and fishing and just transporting everyday goods without needing a large boat.
And it's pretty lightweight, isn't it? So one person presumably could just easily carry this?
Yeah, I can carry that on my shoulder quite easily, yeah.
But I also noticed, I'm going to come around here so people can kind of see, it's very shallow, isn't it? There's no sort of keel on it, there's no sort of depth.
Yeah, they're very shallow boats, and you can see how light they are. They're very, very easy to carry. So the idea is that you can make this in 1 or 2 days, and you can carry it easily, you can transport it, and when you're done with it, you can leave it and make another when you're on your way.
So this wouldn't be a highly skilled bit of construction. This isn't a kind of professional boat builder. This is something that people could do for themselves.
Yeah, as I say, this is an everyday man's vessel. Anybody could build one of these. Yeah, all you need is access to some willow, to weave a large basket, and access to cowhides, which were very accessible back then.
So again, we've got some fantastic bindings there, haven't we? What would be used for that? Is that again the same rawhide?
This is the same rawhide. This is just cut from a deer skin, cut into lashings, and we lash all that up because they tighten as they dry, so they create really strong lashings.
I remember doing these in Scouts years ago, the square lashings and so forth. It's the same,
works perfectly.
Same techniques, isn't it? And so will this naturally be waterproof then?
Yeah, it's waterproof as is. You can throw it straight in and paddle away.
So I'm looking at your hand. Is that a Thor's?
This is actually a head knife. This is the symbol of the leatherworker. It's a traditional leatherworking tool.
It's a leatherworking tool?
Yeah,
okay. So from your accent, it's not a traditional Viking, is it?
No, we've come down from Scotland, so we predominantly do Pictish living history.
Okay.
But it's the same as the Viking Age, and there's a lot of blend as well.
So we've got North Americans on here who might not understand necessarily Vikings, Picts, Scots. Where about the Picts from? Where were their strongholds?
The Picts are from the north and the east of Scotland. That's what we call Pictland or Pictavia, where we get our name from. And we had the Scots in the west. And they are predominantly from the Roman Age right up to the early medieval. So there's a crossover with the Viking Age as well. Yeah.
And would they, if you like, had sort of a similar way of doing things to the Vikings, or would it be a completely kind of different, separated away kind of culture?
There is quite a lot of separation. Christianity came a lot earlier, so they were Christianized very early, so that's very different from the Viking Age.
Yes.
It's more Celtic culture, so similar with Ireland and Scotland.
So if we come over here and have a look at your design, because obviously you've got some fantastic, I'm not going to call it merchandise, but you've certainly got some beautiful things crafted here, from hair pieces. I mean, these designs could be out of the Book of Kells, couldn't they? I mean, they've got a very traditional sort of Celtish look, should we say?
You're absolutely spot on. A lot of the Pictish art is very Book of Kells style, and it's a lot of the artwork we really love working with. So we have some Viking designs, but we predominantly have Celtic. Yeah.
Pictavia leather, is that right? Somebody's put that up.
Yeah, that's me.
Have you got something with your website on there?
Yeah, I've got a card there.
Oh, look at that, fantastic. Oh, I see. So that's the same, the symbol that you got on your hand
there.
So
my symbol is made up of a combination of these two symbols. This is a very Pictish symbol, the crescent V-rod, and then the head knife symbol of a leather worker.
So is that a scraper then? Is that what the function does?
It's actually a cutting tool. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a round knife so that you can do different kind of cuts with it.
So we've got over here, we were just talking to a chap over there who was making a silver Thor's hammer there from the little crucible, and we've got some finished versions here for sale. So let's just talk through. So we've got hair pieces. What else have we got? Coasters?
Yeah, we have fish skin pouches here.
Fish skin,
wow.
Wow.
This is tanned by us as well. This is Scottish salmon leather straight out the River Tay.
Can I just feel that?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. It's got a real kind of natural iridescence to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, you get all the beautiful colours from the hide, and it's very soft as well. Yeah. And we have deer skin pouches, so this is all wild Scottish deer, tanned with oak or acorns. We have lots of pottery as well, all inspired by kind of mostly Celtic finds and some Norse as well.
So again, as far as possible, you're basing it on what you know to be representative of the culture of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And is there a kind of rich archaeological heritage of Pictavia? Have you found a lot of stuff to
not so many artefacts.
Yeah,
it's more looking for references and small things, and there's a lot of interpretation in it as well. Yeah.
Again, leather tankards, would we call these?
Leather tankards, which are a bit later in period, but they look nice with the symbols on. And the bags.
Can we put you on camera for a minute?
Yeah.
Are you a maker? Are you a crafter as well?
So I work with Heygo.
Yeah.
I'm a leatherwork apprentice. And I also make
pass the mic over.
Mm-hmm.
You're a potter?
Yeah.
So in terms of what you make, how are you informed, if you like, by the historical methods and materials? How do you kind of know you're on the right lines?
Well, with the leatherwork, like just from the finds, we can tell that they're bark tanning it. It looks the same. And we're using the kind of medieval method of carving the leather, which we also find in history. So it's just really studying and looking at the artifacts and then kind of copying it as far as we possibly can.
Yeah.
So using the same
deciphering
methods.
it as a bit of trial and error,
It's just a puzzle. So you've got to try and do the best you can to try and copy exactly what's in the record and just make as best a replica as you can, basically.
And obviously from the Viking point of view, that's why this York dig in the 70s was so valuable, because it brought new colour and understanding to the everyday crafting, wasn't it, in lives, not just for the big stuff, but some of the real sort of small detail.
Yeah.
In finding so many, as you say, the needles, the crafting, the tools, that allow people to go, that's the missing piece of the jigsaw, and it's all, it's fascinating. So you've even got some little tools for working yourself in leather, is that right? Is that what this is?
Yeah, these are leather working awls. Yeah.
So what do you do with the awls?
I'll let Emma explain.
Yeah.
So the awls are tools for stitching leather.
Yeah.
So they're to make the holes so that you can stitch the leather. So I'll show you one here.
Oh, I see.
It's got a diamond profile.
Yeah.
So you'd push that through the leather to make the holes to stitch.
Yeah.
And the diamond profile helps to keep the hole open so that you can then pass the needle through the leather really easily.
That is fantastic, isn't it? So the symbol on the top indicates the diameter of the size of the hole that you're creating, is that?
So that's purely decorative.
Oh, purely decorative,
yeah,
okay.
But you do find these kinds of decoration on antler and bone tools from the period. So it is a kind of relatively accurate thing to do. And it looks lovely as well. So
it's also, the one thing you never could like is the wonderful smell. The aroma of this collectively, it's a really warming, earthy smell, isn't it?
Yeah. It's nice to hear because a lot of people associate leather with bad smells.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's actually very homely smells.
Yeah, it's not. It's because it's finished. I mean, if it was, in the midst of it all being maybe be different. But standing here, it's earthy, it's kind of malty. It feels natural. Yeah. And that sort of smell, the term I'd use is kind of natural. That it sort of feels like what it looks like, as you might say, something that is created from something that's been from nature. So, and it needs a bit of wax, does it, just to keep it supple and in good condition? Is that how you keep it in best condition?
Yeah, so regularly waxing things is going to keep it like soft and in really good condition as much as you can. So that's just purely natural materials in that wax, things like beeswax, tallow. So it's Hamish's own recipe that he's developed over years, and it's quite an old recipe, so it works absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just spin the camera on so you can just see. People are going to give a little wave. They're going to say hello, thank you, hopefully tell you where they're from. So Kansas City there, and Philadelphia. And we're just going to thank our friends from the Viking Festival, from, what's it called, Pictavia.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, everybody, for helping to educate and illuminate. That's lovely. Thank you very much. Can you drink from a leather tankard? Would you taste... That last question Joy's asked is... You see the question there. Can you drink from a leather tankard, and would there be a taste from the leather?
So there's no taste from the leather, really, but we do seal them with beeswax, so you get a bit of an aroma of beeswax, which I quite like. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
A quiet taste, perhaps, but... So good for mead, then, I guess.
Oh, it's really good for mead. I
recommend
recommend buying our tankards for mead.
You heard it here first. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.